Morning, Steve Freed in Chicago with the morning grain calls. Well, it's kind of a surprising last 2 days as far as I'm concerned. Yesterday we were down hard. Funds sold 65,000 contracts of corn, and some thought it was some follow-through selling after the USDA neutral report. And in fact, in corn, they didn't lower the Brazil corn crop as much as some people are, and they didn't raise China imports as much, so they didn't raise our 21-22 exports as much, and they put the carryout about $1.5 billion. I mean, if everything falls into place and it's still hot and dry in Brazil, we could actually see corn demand next year 500 million bushels more than what the USDA said. In the beans, basically everything was in line with expectations. I think that they are too low in next year's total U.S. soybean demand, and maybe too low in this year's demand. And so that tightens up the stock situation for beans for 2 years in a row. And everything in the wheat was as expected, except they did raise the Russian wheat crop more than what people thought and put their exports higher than what people were trading. Wheat followed corn. Corn was down the limit, and beans at one point was down almost 70 cents a bushel. Overnight we're higher, and I think that yesterday there was also some confusion about a bridge in Memphis, and if it collapses it would stop 771 barges from moving south to the Gulf, and many people thought a lot of corn is in there to load China corn boats. And so we have heard that everything has been looked at, and they could reopen navigation as soon as tonight or early tomorrow morning. So I don't think that was the number one thing for limit down in corn, but now corn is higher overnight. We now flip the switch from USDA numbers to looking at weather. Brazil is still dry. Europe's okay. Southern Russia is a little dry, and we'll be watching pretty closely to see if there's any ridging there and if it extends into Eastern Europe. PNW, Canada prairies, U.S. northern plains are dry, but the Midwest here in the U.S. is okay for now. Some meteorologists feel that by the end of the spring and early summer, we could see some ridging in the western corn belt, along with ridging in the southern plains and ridging in the northern plains, and continued dryness in the PNW and Canadian prairies. To me, that's not bearish. But again, you have to pick your spots. And I think for the weather market, we trade every Monday morning the 2-week weather forecast, and it could be extremely volatile and have wild swings like we've seen in the last 3 days. So you have to be maybe thinking about using options to protect risk more than just having a futures position or even a spread position. So again, we're up. I think it's because we overdid it yesterday. We corrected from an overbought situation with RSIs over 80. We're now corrected, and I think that the market will be watching pretty closely the U.S. export demand, especially in corn. We're watching our weather and anything from the outside markets that could influence us, whether it's inflation or deflation or just money flow, as index funds tend to buy hard assets if there is inflation. As always, these are my thoughts and not those of ADM Investor Services. Have a safe and profitable trading day. And remember, always treat people like you yourself would like to be treated.